They had made it, but were so exhausted that they were laying spread eagle on the shore and weren't paying attention to the lake. I kept swimming, focusing on my breathing, and thinking about the newspaper. I knew he would be much better off with me. It was up to me to save us both. The shore was becoming ever nearer. We got closer and closer and he started laughing hysterically in my ear. He cheerily said, "We're going to make it. We're going to make it." I wasn't so sure. My right calf tightened up. My toes went numb. I had a terrible revelation. I was cramping too. I told him to try to float and use his arms. Briefly, I let go to switch my arms. He freaked out. He panicked. He was splashing and slapping and clawing. I managed to get around him and wrap my left arm around his waist. I started side stroking again, and calmed my breathing. I felt my strength come back. I became more optimistic. We were now only about 25 feet from shore. Luckily, the boys on the beach saw us. They swam towards us swiftly. Just as they reached us, my right thigh went into a full cramp. As I stretched my leg out and as they grabbed my buddy from me, I realized I could touch the bottom. We made it. My buddy was still crying as we reached shore. It was my first near-death experience. A county utility truck drove up to us. The driver, an old man, rolled down his window and said, "You boys better not be swimming around in that lake. It's not safe out here." We traveled home quietly. We were tired and terrified. I had nightmares for weeks. In my dreams I'd see him slip underwater and I would swim away. Every now and then, late at night, the memory comes to me and I shudder. That was over 40 years ago and it still seems like yesterday. The friend that I saved died on a motorcycle about 10 years later, but prior to that he would introduce me to people as the guy who saved his life. I got to shore and started crying too. The four of us sat there in silence for a while, realizing how stupid we had been and how close to death we had just come. That was terrifying.